Hi, good evening. We're going to start the fusion practice. The theory a little bit complicated, but actually, if we understand it, it follows exactly a very natural way. So our fusion is now we know the space around us. There are so many different energy. So at the moment, our body is our organ is our organ. So in the Tao said, when we don't do anything, mostly our organs separate and they don't talk to each other. So the first fusion is we are gathering the organ energy, let them work as a team. Now, the next one, we started to see the environment, because the environment, outside energy, the energy that outside of us, they also have different kind of energy. So when we started to understand this, we started to understand these different kind of forces. So there are, we call a creating cycle and a counteract cycle. And so the elements like the heart, we call the fire elements. And the fire, when it burns, creating energy, generate power, generate chi, and the ashes remain turned into earth. So we call the fire give birth to the earth. And when the earth, we have big earth, we dig down, you find metal. Okay, so it's the lung and large intestine. So the earth is spleen, pancreas, stomach. So the theory, once you understand it, is very easy and simple. And so we have these 5 elements. And so the earth, the spleen, the pancreas, and the stomach, and the metal is the lung and the large intestine. And the water is the kidney and the bladder. And the wood, we give them a green color, and that is tree, forest, okay? And the liver. So now, inside us, the Tao said we have to make them come together as a team. Okay. So when the organ can come together, work as a team, otherwise they will counteract each other, and they are so like the water can put off fire, and the fire can melt the metal. The metal can cut the wood, and the wood can cut a block or collusion the earth. The earth can block the water. So so the Tao and the Chinese play this game for thousands and thousands years. And even now, we can see that it works very perfectly with all our situation. But human can born into different elements. Some people born with a very big heart or fire or very little wood to support. So in this kind of person, they burn very fast, but there's no wood support, and they will be started to have the problem. Some people have very big earth, but no fire support. And some people have very big water, but the wood very small. So we end up with the whole key is how can we reverse we call the negative side effect of the we call inner creating cycle, but we don't want them into a conflict cycle, a suppressed cycle, or a killing cycle. By I kill you like the water push off the fire, and the fire try to destroy the lung, and the lung try to destroy the liver, and liver try to destroy the earth, and the earth try to block the water. So that is a very simple part. But if we look at, so the beginning of the fusion or the Tao practice, so you are entering all the Tao esoteric practice, okay? So we said in a negative cycle, water put off the fire, it distinguishes the fire. Definitely, if you have bigger fire, it will counteract back the water, boil and burn out the water, okay? And so the water put off the fire, but the fire, or we call the heart, the kidney put off the heart fire. And so when we have but the fire creates a children is earth, because when the fire burn, it becomes ashes, okay? But the earth, they say, oh, you want to destroy my parents. And the earth said, no, I can block you, okay? So now we have three pairs are fighting each other, okay? Now, when we have these three pairs fighting each other, now when the earth block the water, now the earth, children is wood. But in a natural way, wood can collusion and take all the energy from the earth. Okay, it taking too much energy out of the earth. So now we have four pairs are fighting. Okay, now when when the earth the wood counteract the earth, now the earth says, oh, my children, the earth creating metal. So the metal have the power to cut the wood. Okay. So now the wood say, okay, my children is fire, so I can use fire to burn the metal. So now we become, in the Tao set, they are fighting each other, they conflict each other. So now we have a big conflict inside us. And this is, the whole world is internal conflict, always internal conflict, and the territory, and this is my right, and this is mine, and this is, you cannot touch it, you cannot step over my territory, you cannot overcome my territory or overcome my power. So the whole world conflict in a Tao belief that is conflict from inside us first. We don't see that. We only see, oh my God, why everybody like this, why he like this, like that. But now we haven't seen, we also have conflict inside us. So now the Tao said, very simple. So the fusion, very simple. So you're going to learn a new center. It's we call the pot. In the basic, we're learning the fire. So in the basic, we learn the fire that the stove. Okay, in the olden time, they start with a cauldron. So the fire below and the water or solution or any a material putting in the pot. So the pot is behind the navel, and you make a line from navel in and put a line from the top down. and you intersection, and that is the pot. Okay, so we always want to start activate the Dantian fire. Okay, so now, so now if we come and look again, the fire, when the fire you're putting in the stove, and you put the water in the pot. So it's very simple, down to earth theory. We in the beginning, maybe 10,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, we call human looking for fire. We call crash. There one movie very funny. They call crash for fire. When the volcano explosion boomed, okay, and a lot the forest burned, and a lot of animal barbecue and die. And now people look at all the animal and barbecue, and they say, "Oh, it's so simple. You don't have to hunt; you can eat." You know. And when the fire burning, they get warm, okay, and they keep the fire, and they later on they understand that if they add up wood and their leaf, it burn, okay. So that's how they started to keep the fire, but they don't know how to start the fire. So they burn the fire. And it takes so many years, 2,000 years, to discover they can start a fire. And they're still using the water, using the fire burn. And they say, and they never understand to how to use the water a pot. And later on, when we discover that, we can containing water, can contain anything, and we separate the water and fire, so now they're creating steam. Otherwise, water and fire is an all enemy. Okay, when the water push on the fire, it extinguishes the fire. But when we separate them, the water in the pot, we call the Dantian, and the fire below, that is what we do, the whole basic training, all the fire. Now they don't fight because the cauldron, we call, so if we say a modern way, is everybody understand it, is the stove and the pot. Even now we have gas, wire them into our kitchen, and we turn on, and you still have stove, but you still need pot. Okay, so now in the olden time, the Tao said, okay, so now the water go into the pot, and the pot here we call the earth. Okay, the earth. So you put the earth in the center, and now when the water and fire, now they separate, they turn to power, chi, energy, life force, prana. Now, and we still have the wood and the metal. So because the mother of the metal is the earth. So the mother in the between, and the metal cannot run over the mother and try to kill the wood. So the wood and metal have nothing to do, but the wood, remember that, I can help supporting the fire. So the wood can help support the fire to burn, and we have more fire. Now the metal said, I have nothing to do, but I remember my job is to take more water. So the metal can attract more water and add in more water into the kidney. So kidney can add in more water into the pot. So that is the whole theory of the Tao practice. If you understand this theory, now we have it. Okay? And it's the whole, now it's a matter of we are making the internal organ no conflict. Now, the biggest thing in this world is the conflict. And we always talk about conflict and conflict and conflict, but we never talk about people go in and dissolve their own conflict first. So when they can really, now we know the theory, we have to dissolve the conflict. But the people have to be go in and dissolve the conflict. And when we have more people come together, now we can start to discover that I can dissolve my conflict, and everybody started to dissolve the conflict. Now the meeting had nothing to, the conflict dissolved is not much to talk now. I dissolve my conflict, you dissolve your conflict, he dissolved conflict, she dissolved her conflict. Now when come together, we have no conflict. Now, what we do? You put all the energy, before that we get all the energy into conflict and fighting, conflict and fighting. Now, we put all the energy into, let's talk about what we're going to do. What talk about the plan, what we're going to do. So all the energy go into the plan. It's a company the same, a family is the same, the internal conflict. A neighbor is internal conflict, a territory conflict. Now the whole world fighting so long ago, until now is still the same. Territory conflict, okay? You step over my right, you step over my boundary, you step over my authority, okay? So we have territory conflict. And now can we dissolve this with no internally, okay? So that is the whole Tao practice. So the first step, if you understand this, we're going to start with the fusion. So the first fusion is still the basic thing we learn. We have to get the light, okay? And the color is very important because the 5 elements is all involved with the color. And all the color that we have is so much involved with the organ color. So let's stand up. The color, the organ color. So let's, very simple. Let's talk about number 1. We give the energetic heart a red color. The spleen, pancreas, stomach, yellow color, gold yellow, and lung and last intestine are white color, okay? And kidney are blue or black color, and the liver are green color. So that is the major part of the color, and the major part of the energy that we're going to work with. Now, the light that we have, is violet light contain all the rainbow color. And so in the Tao, when we talk about rainbow body, rainbow color, you have to start with, you get the light reflecting in the brain. You get the light and you reflecting in the brain. So when the light coming into the center of the brain, and the center of the brain like a crystal, okay? And after a crystal, it hold and reflecting. It hold the light and reflecting light. And now we're going to turn the crystal in the center into a prism, okay? So when the light come into the prism, it's spread out rainbow color, okay? And the rainbow color, because how we look, when we see things, it's reflecting right down into the optic nerve. So if you get your hand hit here, that is the optic nerve. So this optic nerve, when we see the light, when we see the light and is reflecting the rainbow color. Now this mirror, or we call optic nerve, actually optic nerve see picture, see color. That's how we are. So in the olden time, the Dao master, when they close the eye and they cross the eye, the first thing they make a triangle into the center, the triangle. So when you form a triangle, when in the brain center you form a triangle, and it turns to be like a prism. It's just like a triangle like this in the center of the brain. And when the light coming in, it captures the light and it reflecting the light, and the light prism reflecting the rainbow color into the back of the brain. So the Tao think that it's a mirror. Okay, it's a mirror that is a mirror on the back of the head here. So you think a mirror on the back here, and the rainbow color is hit the mirror and it reflecting. Now you move. So the mirror is movable. So you want to take the rainbow color reflecting down to the organs. So now the Tao said, you think that the heart, so olden time they don't understand the light. So now we know that when we see the red light, that means it absorbs all the light and reflect the red. So we see the red. In our own time, they say, okay, you feel the rainbow color, and the heart absorbs red color. Okay, and the yellow color into the spleen, and the white color into the lung, and the blue color into the kidney, and green color in the liver. So that is the first color, and this color is called color code. And the color code going to be involved with the nature. Okay, so we see the wood is a green color. Okay, we see the heart is the fire burning, and we give them we see the fire burning, and you give a red color. But the fire later on it can change. It change to be blue fire, a green fire, and a red fire. So many different kind of fire. So when we get that part, when we get that this part, now it's very easy for us to see the so we see the organ reflecting the color, and we get this color and into the organ. We get the color into the organs, okay? And when the organs, and you see the color and it spin. The color can spin and it attract more color from the nature. So it spin and it attract more color into the nature. Now when we have this color, now we're going to grow our aura. Because in the Tao, we believe that when your organs are healthy, you radiate out that kind of aura into the body. And the aura, when you get that color of aura and you spin in the orbit, now you can see that aura getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and cover our body. And this Tao, very concerned about that. You have to get, if you want any aura, you have to go to the organs. And when your organs are strong and healthy, it receives the light and it radiates out light. Okay? Okay? So let's stand up. So now we're going to activate the Dantian fire and activate we call the pot, the collection point center, the pot So it's behind the navel and the top of the crown, okay? So rub the hand warm. And aware your palm. Aware your palm. Palm is very important because that's where we generate power and electricity. So palm. Always develop the vortex. So every tip of fingers have a fingerprint. So if you look at a physical fingerprint, we have vortex and the spiral. Every people, the spinning of the fingerprint actually is a vortex that you take the energy and spinning in a unique pattern of yourself. So nobody have the same fingerprint. And if you think them like a vortex, they are spinning, and now you get the power. Okay? So thumb, index fingers, middle finger, ring fingers. So these 4 fingers, we say north. Okay? We say north, or we call yin. Okay? And the pinky fingers and the palm have a different kind of polarity. We call south, or we call fire, red color. So if you think blue and red, and you spiral them up, you're spinning it. And when you spin for a while, and you feel your palm, your fingertip, and the palm have feeling. So spiral. Think a vortex coming down the tip of the finger and your palm. And spin it. Now, when you feel the energy, now you have a magnetic field. You generate a north and south spinning, you generate a magnetic field. So this magnetic field can attracting the power, chi, energy, life force. So you put your hand down and very relaxed spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you do it slow and you feel, hey, chi are following me. And expand your hand, your leg, gathering the chi and mind, eye, heart, and the palm. So you gather the chi and condense the chi. So your palm and mind, eye, heart, condense the chi. When you slow, you feel, hey, something will follow you, and the chi started to listen to you when you train your mind power. And you condense, and now chi is permeable. So you bring this condensed chi and their alignment in the negative positive alignment, and you bring them into your dantian. And you feel below the navel, 1.5 inches, dantian fire burning. Now, again, expand your hand very far away. You can do 3 sets and gather the energy and condense the chi and condense and activate and bring the chi into your dantian. So we call you activate the dantian fire. Okay. Now we're going to activate the kidney. So 3 fire, the Tao very concerned. Every level you have to do that.